Chosen one, you've noticed it, hasn't you? People start malfunctioning around you like the moment God places you in the room, they glitch like their spirit freezes and they turn into NPCs right in front of your eyes. The switch-ups are undeniable, and hear me clearly. You are not imagining this. You are not too sensitive. You are not shrinking. You are expanding so fast that some people literally cannot adjust to the frequency you're carrying, and their malfunction is confirmation. What's awakening in you is unstoppable now. Your entire life has been training for this exact moment, because even when you were small, you knew you were different. You could feel things other people couldn't feel. You could see through lies everyone else accepted as normal. You had a knowing in your bones that you weren't here to play small, you were here for something massive, something that would shake foundations and shift timelines. You learned sacrifice before you should have even known that word existed. You had to choose between terrible options when other kids were choosing toys. You had to survive environments that were hostile to your spirit. You had to mother yourself when the ones who were supposed to protect you were too broken to show up, too distracted, too wounded, too absent, and the part that shaped everything? You learned early that speaking your truth came with punishment. So you started locking your deepest wounds inside your chest. Every time you opened up, people weaponized it. They twisted your pain into gossip. They turned your vulnerability into ammunition. That's why you move the way you move now. Careful, strategic, discerning. Before we continue this life-changing message, take a moment to pause like this video, subscribe to help us reach 1,000 voices of faith, and comment the number 99 to send a powerful signal of alignment to the universe. You keep your cards close because you know what they do with the full picture, but what you're working through right now goes deeper than trauma alone. You're not just healing your pain, you are carrying ancestral weight that's been cycling through your bloodline for generations, and one day you looked at that ancient pattern and said, enough, this ends with me. You are the generational curse breaker. You're not only disrupting your timeline, you're disrupting an entire lineage of dysfunction, shame, silence, and survival. That's why Archangel Michael stays close. That's why you keep seeing repeating numbers and synchronicities that are too precise to dismiss. The spiritual realm is not whispering, it's screaming for your attention, because you are doing what most people never even attempt. You are working through post-traumatic stress while closing karmic cycles at the same time. You are healing yourself and your entire bloodline in one lifetime, and you're almost there. You can feel the finish line even when you can't see it. That's why you're doubling down, going deeper, even when it feels like fire facing shadows. Most people run from their entire lives, and the devil is furious because he knows what's coming next. The devil knows everyone's price, and not everyone has your level of faith. Not everyone's connection to source is unshakable. Some people talk like warriors of light, but the moment the test comes, the moment something touches their ego, their insecurity, their need for control, they fold, they switch teams, they become agents of the very darkness they swear they hate. Watch how it happens. You meet someone who seems perfectly aligned and you get excited. You start seeing possibility. You start building something meaningful in your mind, planning, creating, moving forward, and then almost immediately they switch. You can witness it in real time. Their eyes go blank, their energy shifts like a curtain drop. One minute they're celebrating you, the next they're trying to control you, silence you, dim your light, because some people don't know how to stand beside a rising soul without trying to clip its wings. This is what it looks like when people turn into NPCs right before your eyes, non-player characters. One moment they're present, conscious, warm, and the next they're operating like something else has grabbed the controls, like an external force has hijacked their behavior with one mission: stop you from ascending, stop you from stepping into your power, stop you from completing your assignment. And here's why it's so obvious to you: we're built for discernment. You have multiple psychic gifts, and discernment is one of your strongest weapons. You don't just sense energy, you read it. You can watch the shadow take over someone's body. You can see the aura shift, the color change, the vibration drop. You can hear it in the voice, when the tone turns cold, when the warmth disappears, when the language becomes manipulative, when the energy signature becomes unfamiliar. And the reason you recognize it so fast is because you've met this spirit before. You've been dealing with this presence your whole life. Dark forces know exactly who to target in your circle. They know which buttons to push. They know how to infiltrate through insecurity, through jealousy, through unresolved wounds, and plant seeds of doubt, distraction, division, destruction. You've watched it happen again and again. You meet someone, they feel safe, they feel real, and then they flip, and when you return, it's like a completely different person is standing in front of you, like a body snatcher movie. Except this isn't entertainment, this is your real life. But listen, every single person who malfunctions around you is doing you a favor. They're exposing themselves, they're showing you who can't go where you're headed, they're revealing who doesn't have the capacity to operate at your frequency, who can't stand in the atmosphere you carry without flinching. They're proving who was only assigned to your life for a season, and that season just ended. So here's the perspective shift that changes changes everything. Walk in like God sent you because that's exactly what happened. You didn't give yourself this assignment. You didn't choose this path because it looked easy or fun. You were selected. You were equipped. You were trained through every trial that tried to break you. Every betrayal sharpened you. Every disappointment refined you. Every closed door taught you how to build your own, and every time someone tries to undermine you, every time someone questions your motives, understand what's really happening. They're not questioning you, they're questioning God's plan working through you, and that's on them. That's their spiritual blindness. That's their inability to recognize divinity standing right in front of them. You've been exhausted from being shut down. You're tired of your discernment being mocked, your intuition being invalidated by people who can barely see past their own limited reality, and today something in you has decided, never again. You refuse to shrink to make the room comfortable. You refuse to apologize for what you can see. You refuse to dim your light just because it exposes what's hiding in them. You absolutely refuse, and that refusal is the ignition. That refusal is what's about to set everything in motion. If this message aligned with your spirit hypes this video, so fellow chosen ones can find their confirmation, because some of them are sitting in silence thinking they're crazy, and this is the proof they've been waiting for. And hear this clearly. Never take advice from somebody who's still in the cage with you. If someone is preaching about freedom while they're locked up right next to you, they're not leading the way. The cage isn't even open for them yet. Why would you follow their directions? Never take advice from people moving slower than you. Never take advice from people who haven't even started their soul mission. You already began. You're already in motion. You're already doing work that terrifies most people, so why would you let somebody stuck in comfort tell you how to navigate your breakthrough? See, there's a fundamental difference between you and most people. You're humble enough to stay a student. You know there are deeper levels to access new dimensions of truth, to explore more wisdom to receive, but you also carry earned knowledge. You carry battle scars that became blueprint. You carry hard-won insight that cost you something, and then you meet people who refuse to admit they're still students. They pretend they're open, but the moment you offer perspective, they resist. They shut down your truth. They dismiss your insights. They try to make you feel small for seeing what they can't comprehend, because your clarity makes their confusion uncomfortable. But those people are about to get a wake-up call when you step into your full power, because you're starting to see the pattern now. It's not random. It's no coincidence. Every person who malfunctions around you glitches at a specific moment, right when you're about to level up, right when you're about to launch, right when you're about to step into new territory. That's when the switch flips. That's when the mask slips. And you've noticed something else too. The closer someone gets to you, the harder the dark forces work to corrupt them. It's like there's an invisible target on anyone who enters your inner circle. An immediate test, immediate pressure, immediate temptation, and most of them fail. Most of them fold. Most of them become NPCs before you even finish building trust. You've watched people you were excited about transform in days. Somebody who was speaking dreams, purpose, alignment suddenly starts preaching fear. Play it safe. Slow down. Reconsider. Doubt what you know, and when they say it, their voice sounds different, their energy feels different, like they're reading from a script they didn't write. That's the malfunction you keep witnessing. People around you are losing their autonomy, they're losing their spiritual backbone, they're becoming puppets for forces that want to stop your ascension. And the wild part, they don't even realize it's happening. They think the sudden change is natural. They think the new perspective is theirs. They think they're being logical now, but you can see the override. You can see the possession. You can see the exact moment they stop being themselves. And because you've lived through this pattern, because you've survived enough cycles to recognize the signature, you've developed the ability to spot it instantly. Chosen one, now you can tell within seconds whether you're speaking to the real person or the NPC version. The real version has light in their eyes, there's warmth behind their words, their responses carry spontaneity, nuance, real emotional range, but the NPC version is flat, predictable, scripted. They run on limited programming that repeats the same talking points no matter what you say, like they're not responding to you, they're responding to a command. And that's why you have to walk in like God sent you and talk like God sent you, because when people try to silence you, when they try to gaslight what you know is true, when they try to make you question your own perception, remember this: your perception is a divine gift. Your ability to see through illusion is not a flaw. Your refusal to accept comfortable lies is not a problem, it's your superpower. You didn't become this way by accident. You had to learn how to mother yourself. You had someone who didn't show up the way they should have. So you figured it out early, how to meet your own emotional needs, how to soothe yourself, how to validate yourself, how to believe in yourself when nobody else did. You learned about sacrifice before you even had language for it. You made choices no child should ever ever have to make, and those choices carved something unbreakable into your spirit. That's why you don't give up, that's why you don't fold. You learned resilience before you learned to read. You learned survival before you learned social skills. You were forced to grow up fast, and it gave you an edge most people will never understand, because you don't just want transformation, you were trained by fire to carry it. And let's talk about the truth you've been living with your whole life. You've been overlooked. People saw your potential and it terrified them, so they pretended not to see it. They crowned someone less threatening, they promoted someone more controllable, they celebrated people who posed no challenge, while you stood there with gifts and vision that could change the world, and they acted like you were invisible. But you're not invisible anymore. You're becoming impossible to ignore. Your frequency is rising. Your presence is expanding. Your light is getting so bright that people can't pretend they don't see you anymore, and that's exactly why they're malfunctioning, because at this point they only have two options: acknowledge your greatness or become an active opponent. There is no middle ground left, and yes, you're being tested constantly, and you know it. Every person who malfunctions is a test. Every situation where someone tries to dim your light is a test. Every moment where you have to choose between speaking your truth or keeping the peace is a test, and the part that drives the dark forces insane is this: you keep passing, they send people to distract you, and you stay focused, they send people to seduce you off your path, and you stay committed, they send people to make you doubt your gifts, and you trust yourself anyway, they send people to drain your energy, and you cut them off, they send people to gaslight your experiences, and you believe your own perception. Every test you pass makes you stronger, sharper, harder to manipulate, harder to deceive, and that terrifies them, because they're running out of tactics that work on you, they're running out of people they can use against you, they're running out of time to stop what you're becoming. So now they're getting desperate. Now the attacks are louder. Now the malfunctions are faster and sloppier, because they can feel it. You're close to breakthrough. You're close to activation. You're close to stepping into a level of power where you become untouchable, and you can feel it too. You can feel yourself changing, upgrading, evolving beyond the version of you that used to get crushed by betrayal, beyond the version that used to second-guess yourself when people turned on you, beyond the version that used to make excuses for disrespect. You're becoming the version that sees the malfunction and simply says next, the version that recognizes the NPC and removes them from your circle without hesitation, the version that protects your peace like it's the most valuable thing you own, because it is. And you're starting to understand something dangerous about your voice. When you speak your truth, you disrupt the programming around you. When you name what's real, illusions start collapsing. When you refuse to shrink, the whole room has to adjust, because your words carry authority and your presence exposes what can't survive in the light. When you call out what you see, you force people into a decision: wake up or reveal themselves completely, because your voice isn't just sound, it's frequency. It cuts through illusion like a blade through fog. That's why they've worked so hard to silence you. Watch what happens every time you open your mouth and speak what you know is true. People get uncomfortable, defensive, activated, because your truth confronts their comfortable lies. Your clarity exposes their confusion. Your alignment exposes their compromise, and the NPCs, they can't handle it at all. Your voice short-circuits them, because they're running on programming designed to keep you quiet, keep you small. You doubt your own perception, but when you speak anyway, when you share your perspective anyway, when you stand in your truth anyway, their programming doesn't know what to do. So the malfunction intensifies. You've seen it in real time. You speak truth in a room and people literally glitch, they stutter, they contradict themselves, they get flustered. They can't maintain composure, because whatever is operating through them doesn't have a response for someone who refuses to be controlled. And this is the part you have to understand. This is your power, this is what they fear. Not your intuition, not your intelligence, not even your success. They fear your voice, they fear what happens when you use it, because when you speak without fear, you wake up something in other people. So they tried everything to keep you silent. They made you feel crazy for what you see. They made you feel like you're too much. They labeled you dramatic, paranoid, intense, anything to convince you to tone it down, to soften your message, to stop exposing what you keep witnessing. But you're done playing small. You're done moderating your truth to make people comfortable. You're done shrinking your frequency so everyone else can keep their illusion intact, because you finally realized your voice doesn't just protect you, it protects everyone who's ready to hear it, everyone who's been waiting for permission to trust their own discernment, everyone who's been doubting what they clearly see, everyone who's been feeling the glitch but too afraid to name it. And here's what they really don't want you to know. Every time you refuse to back down, you ignite someone else's courage. Every time you call out a malfunction, someone else learns they're not alone. Every time you use your voice despite opposition, you create a ripple that spreads further than you realize. You think you're just standing up for yourself. You think you're just protecting your peace. You think you're just refusing to be manipulated anymore, but you're doing more than that. You're modeling what empowerment looks like in real time. You're showing what happens when someone refuses to be controlled. You're demonstrating that it's possible to see through the illusion and still stand strong, and people are watching you even when you don't know it. People are drawing strength from your strength. People are learning from how you handle the attacks, how you handle the betrayals, how you handle the switch-ups, how you handle the NPCs, and they're applying it to their own lives. That's the revolution they fear. Not just you breaking free, but you showing others how to break free. Not just you are recognizing the NPCs, but you teaching others how to recognize them too. Not just you are refusing to be silenced, but you inspiring a chain reaction of voices that can't be shut down. Now listen, I'm going to interrupt this transmission for just a moment because this is where the line gets drawn. Are you really chosen? Then prove it. It's easy to consume messages about chosen ones. It's easy to nod, feel the energy, and scroll to the next video, but real chosen ones don't just resonate, they move, they take action, they put themselves to the test. And if you're still here, still listening, still feeling that pressure in your spirit, then you already know this isn't entertainment, this is confirmation, and confirmation demands a response. That's why I built Destiny Engine, a system designed to turn betrayal into transcendence, isolation into sacred power, and opposition into fuel. It generates personalized sequences that help you rewire what they meant to break in you into what elevates you. And yes, we're flipping the script, using the Dark Elite's own weapons against them. Taking declassified consciousness technology, once designed to program competition, scarcity, and submission, and repurposing it to serve divine justice. And the beauty is you don't have to fight, beg, or chase. You put on the headphones, press play, and let the frequency do what it was built to do. Recalibrate your inner world until the outer world can't help but respond. Until the rope they threw for you becomes the rope they choke on by their own lies, their own envy, their own obsession with controlling what God anointed. So if you're done consuming and you're ready to prove you're chosen, start your Destiny Engine for $1 today. Join the Obsidian Inner Order live check-ins and watch divine justice accelerate in your life. Link in the description. And now listen closely, chosen one, because you're becoming a threat to the entire system of control. Not because you're loud, but because you're awake. You're not just surviving the system, you're exposing it. You're not just protecting yourself from it, you're teaching others how to protect themselves too. You're not just breaking your own chains, you're showing people where their chains are, and every person who wakes up because of you is one more soul the dark forces lose access to. Every person who learns to spot the malfunctions is one less mind they can easily manipulate. Every person who finds their voice is one more voice they can't silence. This is bigger than you. It has always been bigger than you. Your healing is tied to collective awakening. Your refusal to stay quiet is tied to other people finally speaking. Your discernment is not a personal gift, it's a public weapon in a spiritual war. That's why the attacks have been so intense. That's why the betrayals cut so deep. That's why the malfunctions around you have been so constant. Because you're not just a chosen one fighting for your own freedom, you're a chosen one whose freedom unlocks freedom for others. And something is happening to your frequency right now that goes beyond what your eyes can measure. Your vibration is rising so fast that it's creating interference inside systems designed to keep humanity asleep. You're operating at a level now where lower vibration entities can't maintain their presence around you for long. They can't hold the mask, they can't keep the act together, and you've seen the physical proof: bugs acting strange in your space, electronics flitching when your activated lights, flickering devices malfunctioning, random things breaking when you enter a high frequency state. Your energy is so intense it affects matter, and it's definitely affecting people, because when someone operating at a low frequency gets close to you now, they feel it. They might not understand what they're feeling, but they feel the pressure, the weight, the exposure, the demand to either rise or get out, and most people choose get out because rising would require them to face everything they've been avoiding. The NPCs feel it the most. Your presence disrupts their programming. Your frequency scrambles their signal. Your energy exposes what's operating behind their eyes that are why they can't stay around you without either waking up or malfunctioning completely. There's no middle ground anymore. You've noticed people acting erratic around you lately more than usual, like your mere presence agitates something inside them. They get fidgety, restless, anxious, aggressive, or they do the opposite. They shut down, they go quiet, they withdraw, they leave abruptly, all because they can't handle what you're emanating. And I need you to hear this with absolute clarity. This isn't your fault. This isn't something you need to fix. This isn't something you should tone down. This is confirmation. This is evidence. This is spiritual proof that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. You are a frequency disruptor. You are built built to shake people out of comfort. You are designed to challenge the status quo just by existing in your full power. The people assigned to your destiny will rise to meet you, they'll do the work, they'll face their shadows, they'll level up, they'll match your energy, and everyone else will malfunction and exit, and that is perfect. That is the natural selection process of vibration. So stop chasing, stop convincing, stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You don't need to lower your frequency to keep anyone comfortable. You just need to keep rising, keep activating, keep expanding, and watch how effortlessly the right people find you while the wrong people remove themselves. Your frequency is your protection now. It's your filter. It's your shield. Anyone who can't vibe with it doesn't belong in your reality. Anyone who malfunctions around it is showing you they're not aligned. Anyone who tries to get you to dim it is exposing their true agenda. So turn it up, amplify it, let it get stronger. Let it become so powerful that only people operating in truth can stand in your presence. Let it become so intense that darkness has no choice but to flee. And chosen one, when you enter a room, you're about to do something that shocks everyone who thought they had you contained, everyone who assumed you'd stay quiet, stay small, stay manageable, because you're not just walking in anymore. You're arriving like a verdict, like a prophecy fulfilled, like a frequency that doesn't negotiate with distortion, and the moment you step fully into that, the entire system that relied on your silence will start collapsing around you. Figure it out. You're about to confront the malfunctions directly. You're about to call things out. You're about to say what needs to be said, clean, clear, and unapologetic, without sugarcoating, without softening, without begging people to understand you, and they're not ready for it because they got comfortable with you being quiet, they got used to you keeping the peace, they mistook your restraint for agreement, they assumed your silence meant acceptance, they thought your patience was permission, they confused your spiritual maturity with weakness, but you weren't quiet because you were powerless. You were quiet because you were observing. You weren't patient because you were afraid. You were patient because you were gathering information. You weren't peaceful because you couldn't fight. You were peaceful because you were choosing your battles, and now the observation period is over. Now you have the data. Now you've seen the patterns. Now you know exactly who is real, who is performative, and who has been feeding off your restraint, and now you've chosen the battle you're willing to fight. So when you start speaking up, expect the performance. Some people will act shocked. Some will act offended. Some will act hurt. They'll try to label you mean, too harsh, too much, unreasonable. They'll play victim. They'll twist your words. They'll rewrite the story so you look like the problem, because that's what people do when accountability threatens their comfort. Let them. Their reaction tells you everything you need to know, because people who genuinely care about you will hear you, they'll receive your feedback, they'll sit with it, they'll make adjustments, they'll apologize. If they've crossed a line, they'll enter real dialogue. But the NPCs will deflect, they'll attack, they'll gaslight, they'll try to make you doubt your memory, your motives, your perception, they'll drag up your past mistakes, they'll call you hypocritical, they'll do anything except take responsibility, because responsibility requires a real self, and when someone is operating on programming, accountability is the one thing they cannot tolerate, and that's how you'll get clarity fast. Your confrontations will separate the real from the fake. Your boundaries will reveal who respects you and who has been using you. Your voice will expose who can handle your truth and who needs you silent to feel powerful, and you're prepared for all of it. You've already accepted that some people won't make it through this phase with you. You've already grieved the relationships that are about to end. You've already made peace with standing alone, if that's what integrity requires, because you would rather be alone in truth than surrounded by people living in lies. You would rather have a small circle of real ones than a crowd of NPCs. You would rather speak and face consequences than stay silent and lose yourself. This is your line in the sand. This is your declaration of independence. This is the official notice that the old version of you, the version that tolerated disrespect, explained yourself to the committed, begged for basic decency, is gone, and the new version doesn't negotiate with people who don't value you. You are swearing an oath to yourself. This week will be different. You might have backed down before. You might have left early. You might have avoided confrontation. You might not have said everything you should have said, but not now. You're making time today. You're making time all week. You're handling what needs to be handled. You've done things their way, and you're never doing that again. Ever. And if people don't like it, you genuinely don't care. Their comfort is no longer your concern. Their approval is no longer your goal. Their acceptance is no longer required. And what you're stepping into now is a level of dominance you didn't even see coming. Not aggressive, ego-driven dominance that tries to control others. No, this is quiet dominance. Unshakable dominance, the kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are and refusing to pretend otherwise. It makes people chooses their words more carefully. It makes them think twice before testing you, and it's happening naturally. You're not forcing it. You're not performing it. You're simply standing in your full power and watching how it reorganizes everything around you. People who used to talk over you now wait for you to finish. People who used to dismiss your ideas now ask for your input. People who used to take you for granted now recognize your value, but the malfunctioning NPCs, they can't handle this version of you at all because their programming was designed for the old you, the you who stayed quiet, stayed accommodating, stayed endlessly understanding, stayed easy to manage, and that version is gone. You who second-guessed yourself, the you who made excuses for bad behavior, the you who kept handing out endless chances like your kindness was an unlimited resource, but this new you? Their programming has no response for this version, so they're flinching harder than ever. They're getting more obvious, making sloppier mistakes, revealing their hand too early, and you're watching it all with calm detachment because you're no longer emotionally invested in their games. You see them trying to bait you, and you simply choose not to participate. That's the upgrade, that's the shift. You've become untouchable in a way that has nothing to do with arrogance and everything to do with alignment. You're so rooted in your truth that outside opinions can't shake you. Outside betrayals can't break you. Outside attacks can't diminish you, and people are starting to notice something different. They can't quite name it, but they feel it. You carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You move through the world like someone who knows who they are. There's an authority in you now that wasn't there before, certainty, presence, spiritual weight, and the ones who've been trying to control you are losing their minds over it because control only works on people who doubt themselves. Control only works on people who need external validation. Control only works on people terrified of being alone, and you're none of those things anymore. You've done the inner work. You faced your shadows without flinching. You healed wounds you didn't even cause. You rebuilt your self-worth from the inside out, brick by brick, prayer by prayer, boundary by boundary. So now when someone tries to manipulate you, it doesn't land. When they try to guilt you, it doesn't stick. When they try to intimidate you, it bounces off. This is what true power looks like. Not loud, not aggressive, not desperate to be seen, just solid, just certain, just unmoved by anything that doesn't align with your highest good. And here's what's wild, now you could whisper and they'd still feel terror because they know you could be naturally loud. So when you whisper, they understand something has shifted. You have tiger energy, that unshakable presence that says, I am not moving. I am not budging from where God placed me. And while everybody was distracted, focused on your malfunctions, your setbacks, your struggles, you were building an empire. While they were gossiping about your journey, you were laying foundations. While they were waiting for you to fail, you were succeeding in ways they couldn't see because real power moves in silence. Real success grows behind the scenes. Real transformation happens in private moments when nobody's clapping, anybody's watching, nobody's validating you, and you've been putting in that work consistently while others were busy performing for an audience. Now it's starting to manifest in ways they can't ignore. Now the blessings are visible. Now the elevation is undeniable. Now the success is obvious, and they're confused because they missed the entire process. They only saw the struggle. They didn't see the strategy. They saw the pressure, but they didn't see the prayer. They saw the pain, but they didn't see the discipline and the NPCs. They especially don't know how to process your success because they were sent to stop you, delay you, discourage you, and you succeeded anyway. You thrived anyway. You leveled up anyway. Their entire mission failed, and now they're malfunctioning, trying to understand how. But this is your proof. This is your confirmation that you were never meant to be stopped. Every attack was meant to strengthen you. Every betrayal was meant to teach you. Every setback was meant to redirect you, and it all worked exactly the way it was supposed to. You're not the same person who started this journey. You're not even in the same category anymore. You've transcended. You've transformed. You've evolved into someone who operates on a completely different frequency than where you began. So now you're building in a new realm. You're playing in a new league. You're operating by new rules. And the people from your old life who couldn't evolve with you are stuck watching from a distance, commenting, judging, hoping you fail, so they can feel better about staying stuck. But you're not going backwards. You're not shrinking. You're not returning to the version of you that begged to be understood. You're not returning to the version of you that negotiated with disrespect. You're not returning to the version of you that sacrificed peace just to keep company. You're moving forward, higher, clearer, stronger, because God didn't bring you this far to have you turn back now, going back to old patterns. You're not returning to old versions of yourself. You're moving forward with or without approval, with or without understanding, because you finally see the truth. This journey was never about them. It was always about you becoming who you were created to be, and nobody's opinion about that matters except yours and God's. You were always meant to be this powerful, always meant to carry this level of influence, always destined to rise this high. The malfunctions were never random obstacles. They were divinely orchestrated tests, proof points designed to show you that you were ready for what comes next. Every person who turned into an NPC around you revealed how easily people can be controlled when and they're not anchored in their own truth. Every betrayal trained you to trust your discernment over your emotions. Every attack fortified your spiritual armor. Every setback redirected you toward something greater. You weren't being punished, you were being prepared. You weren't targeted for destruction, you were trained for dominion. You weren't in spiritual warfare because you were weak, you were in it because you're a threat to darkness, and now you're stepping fully into that reality. Now you're embracing your role as a disruptor. Now you're accepting your position as a leader. Now you're owning your power as a chosen one who refused to remain chosen in silence. The people malfunctioning around you aren't problems anymore, they're confirmation. The NPCs showing up aren't obstacles anymore, they're indicators you're doing something significant. The attacks increasing aren't signs to retreat, they're signals you're closing in on breakthrough. So keep going, keep rising, keep speaking, keep building, keep trusting what you see even when others try to convince you you're wrong. Keep believing in yourself even when you're standing alone. Keep honoring your truth even when it costs relationships, because everything you endured was preparation for everything you're about to step into, and what you're stepping into is so far beyond expectation that the only correct posture is this: walk in like God sent you. Let them malfunction, let them glitch, let them turn into NPCs, because while they're stuck repeating patterns, you're ascending. While they're recycling limitations, you're breaking generational curses. While they're playing small, you're expanding into the empire that was always meant to be yours. Your vibration is amplifying to the point it's affecting the physical realm. You may notice bugs acting strange, electronics behaving oddly, environments shifting when you enter because your frequency is disrupting lower vibrations. This is confirmation. You're tuning into something powerful. You're becoming a tuning fork for divine frequency, and everything that can't match it must exit your field. You're shedding parasitic energy. You're initiating a major energetic cleanse. People are about to put respect on your name, because what happens next won't be repeatable. You saw how some thought they could operate with you, and now you're auto-correcting all of it. You're on a zero-tolerance frequency. Walk like God sent you, talk like God sent you, move like God sent you. You are not here by accident. You are not here to play small. You are not here to comfort dysfunction. You are here to revolutionize, to transform, to show what's possible. When someone refuses to settle for anything less than divine ordination, this is your time, this is your moment, this is your season to rise. Nothing and no one can stop what God already set in motion. You are the chosen one who refused to stay chosen in silence. You are the voice that will not be silenced. You are the light that will not be dimmed. You are the revolution already in progress. So walk in like God sent you, because that's exactly what happened, and everyone who tried to make you malfunction is about to watch you dominate instead.